Welcome everyone to the MDM Show. I'm Donna Whittington. I'm the hostess along with Peter Schenk, who is the executive producer, and Charles Matthew. He's also with us tonight. We're going to do a Q&A session with them too tonight, but we have Wendy back with us. If you remember, Wendy was with us last week, and she did a live activation, which was pretty awesome. So we're going to talk to her about her experience with the whole activation and the whole workshop programming. So we'll see what her experience was, talk to her, ask her some questions as well. But this is your time. This is your time to get into the chat with us tonight and ask your questions. Some of you have emailed questions. We'll go over those as well. But if you are watching us live, please bring your questions. We have both Charles and Peter, and they are going to answer questions for us. So let's get started. We have a wonderful show. Charles, I believe we're going to start off with you.
Wendy, hi, and Peter. And in terms of starting, could we just continue from last week's show? And Wendy, could I ask you what the difference is? What did you notice? How are you different from before last week's show?
Well, it was interesting in that shortly thereafter, I just felt so much lighter. Nothing had changed. My responsibilities hadn't changed. Caring for an ill family member hadn't changed. Nothing physically had changed in my world. But I just felt so much lighter. I felt less burdened, and just felt very confident in being able to carry on, and also felt physically lighter in my body. Yeah, it was awesome.
And how are you feeling right now?
Right now, well, it felt very intense, very noticeable at the beginning of last week, and now it's kind of mellowed off, and I'm still feeling really well and more able to handle any emotions that come up. Having a husband who's in the last stages of Huntington's, there's a lot of grief involved, and I'm finding that it's much easier to handle now. Before I felt overwhelmed and thought if I started getting into that grief cycle, I wouldn't get out of it. And now I'm feeling very confident and that I can handle whatever comes up and not have to hold it in my body.
All right, I'm going to make a very provocative statement, and I want you to notice how you feel about it.
Okay.
Okay, are you good enough?
Yes.
How does it feel?
It feels... mentally I can say yes, but there's still a part in my body that I still feel that little tug, like a rubber band pulling, just around the heart.
Okay, because I've worked with you, may I clear that up real quickly?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, are you good enough?
Yes.
Okay, and how does that feel when you know that you are good enough?
There's no tension.
Okay. Notice how your facial muscles are smoother, they're more relaxed. You're breathing from the whole body.
Yes.
Okay. Your shoulders are even. I'm pointing out things that someone can observe. Your blinking rate is more in sync, like your eyes are more in sync. Okay, I'm just giving you feedback and just doing some testing.
Yeah. And I'm feeling much more relaxed.
All right, super. Do you have any questions of me about what you did or didn't do, or what I did or didn't do?
What did you do? I was also interested in not being able to talk after the last session, just what the process was that we went through last time.
Well, there were several processes that we went through, but in a real simple way is we went to the root core, activated the root core issue, went to the root core, cleared that up, and then let that reverberate through the rest of your body. The stuck energy that was there got realigned in accordance with your highest and best values. And what that is that was a process that got started, and it's up to you to continue the process, because as a heal is a one-time event when you heal. What I prefer to do nowadays is a healing where you continue the process. And like when I did that little release, it was just right here, just above your solar plexus, between your solar plexus and your heart, was a little bit stuck. I just got that energy moving real quick. Well, that's part of the ING process. So with that ING process, what I recommend is that you use the Aquaware 4.0, some of the programs in there, just to keep that energy moving. And because this is a process, notice what's presented to you. Notice what you may be attracted to in terms of improving your health. Notice what it is that you let go of, especially is it up to you for to be totally responsible for someone feeling great and healthy and smiley all the time? That can be a real big one, especially for parents. And you're in that situation when you're working with one in terms of from a health point of view, especially a dear loved one. And so those will bring up little bubbles of stress in you, and you let those go, and that's an ongoing process.
So it's just being aware of how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling, and then just going to the Aquaware to take care of it.
Yes. Or even going to the Aquaware to get that moving before you become too aware of it.
Okay.
And I look on the Aquaware as a sustaining for a real heavy-duty issue. And what you're talking about, caring for a loved one when they're in really, really bad health, that is what you call heavy-duty.
Right.
At least that's what I call pretty heavy.
Well, and that's the way I was feeling before last weekend.
Yeah, so it's about, by you being lighter, you lighten up the energy of the other person, and that reflects back.
Nice.
And again, it's an ongoing process.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to put Charles on the spot. Charles did an amazing job last week with the ice activation. And now, Charles, I'm going to ask you to pull a new activation that you don't know about out of the etherics or the rabbit hole or the magic kingdom or wherever you want to get it from.
I feel like my zipper's down everyone, so let's go.
Spotlight is on you. Oh,
thank you.
Over to you.
So, oh, you want me to do it? I thought you were going to ask me a question. Okay.
I did. I asked you a question and gave you a directive.
Do I do it with the group or with Wendy or with you?
I want you to do it with the group.
Wow. Okay.
Your ears are smoking, man.
Okay, for the group, what I'm going to do is clear up all the issues that, like I did with Wendy, for all of you. This may be a little bit unusual to watch a grown man do this, and here we go.
Just keep your clothes on.
You gave it away. lai lai, a ye a lai, ai a lai, kuale a lai, ai a moa koa e ala e ko ai. Me kamahalo, nui nui.
It might have been better if you took your clothes off.
Well, I could do that, but what I'd have to do is like put my picture up as opposed to live. This is a rated show, or not a comedy.
You never know what's gonna happen. Yeah, that one that was pretty amazing. My core is still tingling off that one.
I'm in a sweat, Peter. I'm in a sweat.
Well, that's because I challenged you to take your clothes off. I almost called you on it. That's why you're sweating.
Well, no, there's that, and it's the energy flowing through.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so, since we're here, let me ask for some of the feedback from whoever's listening as to what you noticed. And Wendy, if I may, Peter, what is it you noticed? And then let me ask Wendy what she noticed, and Donna if she noticed anything. Just a one or two word answer is good. Yeah.
It was interesting from an energetic standpoint. You weren't there, but you were there.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it besides that. I don't generally take on anybody else's energy, and I do that on purpose. I keep myself very, very walled off. I've always been like that, but that was amazing. That was bravo, good job, Wendy. Are you still conscious?
I am, and my head's still here. I just felt tingling right through from the top of my head to the bottom of my toes, and my heart just started pounding.
And how are you now?
Great. Like in a good way, not a bad way. Everything was excellent. It was good.
Yeah.
All good.
All right, cool. And Donna, please.
Yeah, for me, of course, the tingling in this area, Charles, is where I feel the energy. And I was going to ask you if you would give us some background on that whole chant and how did that come to you, if you could. So maybe that's just a question we hold off on, but at some point I would like to, have you answer that. Talk to us about the whole chanting because it is powerful.
Okay.
And we've got folks in the chat, and so I'm kind of chatting with some people out there as well.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you where the chant came from, and I'm laughing because I channeled that through me. All right. It was just the sounds that came through, and it was more than just the chant. It was the energy that just flowed through me. I started with intending to clear up all and any remaining blocks or stuck energy that people had from last week, and with that intending, which turned into an intention, I put that vocally out, and to add a little bit of visual to it, I did some movements of my hands, which were very basic, and so I could feel this. My body just started with perspiration. A bottom line is that I just made it up. Okay, I have this ability to do to do this sound. By some, it's called first language. I started off as a doing the energy work or what I do very naturally. It was unknown to me that I had the ability until '78. And then what I did is I went and studied with some people, actually with someone privately for 2 years, '79 and '80. And then I noticed that I would change and just do things intuitively. So, whenever I think about healing or healing energy flowing through me, there are changes that happen with other people. And that's known as being a presence healer, or there's a term for that, and that term has been used to describe me. And that's my strongest ability, is just having a strong presence and making some changes. It just comes. And I a lot of times say nothing. I'm just in the same room or in the same space with someone. And as an example with that, I know I'm speaking to you, Donna, but Wendy, can you feel me now? Can you feel my presence now, Wendy?
Yes.
And what does that presence feel like?
It just feels like love, unconditional love.
All right, super, super. That's what I do, Donna. Thank you, Wendy. And what I've done with this process that I did last week with Wendy is I'm doing my best to teach what I do naturally, to open up that ability within other people. In other words, I want to teach how I do this. And one of the first things to do in order to connect, in order to do what I do, is to learn how to connect with someone from a heart level, a real heart level. I teach that. It takes about 10 minutes. And then you work with your inner core. All right. And just recently, when I did a workshop in the UK, I'm finally able to give people an experience of where they're able to do this within a day. And I did 2 workshops there and had some real success. And those that were in the workshop that wanted to continue are also having some success with using the technique on themselves and others, which I think is pretty good, because I've been attempting to figure out how to teach what I do to other people so they can do it for the last 15 years. Okay? Thank you. How are you doing now, Wendy?
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Charles, that was pretty mind-blowing. my tequila hangover is gone. That's pretty amazing.
Well,
did I say that?
As you know, I'm pretty open to being tested as long as it's safe and comfortable, and for the best of for the highest good of all concerned, and that's what I do. Boy, I'll tell you, I was surprised. You put me on the spot, and yeah, thank you.
Well, that's the only way to roll, right?
I like that.
On the spot. So I wanted to talk a few minutes about what's up and coming from MDM. Aquaware 4.1 is coming into fruition now. It's really going to be, there's a lot of bugs in 4 that you may or may not know about. I get a lot of hate mail about a couple of bugs, but it's okay. 4.1 is probably going to be due out around the same time the Source 4 is ready. I have a couple surprises in Aquaware 4. If you're not an Aquaware owner, the price remains the same. If you are an Aquaware owner, 4.0 is a free upgrade. I'm tweaking the engine further than I've ever tweaked it before across all the intents in Aquaware. And of course, the customized intent sessions is undergoing kind of a transition where I'm changing the fundamental code within the algorithm to produce an effect like you have never seen before. Okay, the formula is changing, which means the effects are going to change. It's really going to be over the top, really over the top. And I'm working on a white paper, which I keep mentioning that it's due out in a couple days, and I've been saying that for 4 months. But and that's on customizing, your intents in 4.0. And the reason I haven't released it yet is because it's really geared towards 4.1. And I just kind of found this out as I was working on the new code for 4.1. So 4.1 will be out within 4 weeks. There's a few surprises coming with it. I'd like to put more intents in there, pre-canned ones. So if there's something that the audience listening tonight or listens to the replay, if you want it, you can email Donna with your spam mail. Donna, do you oops, that's being called put on the spot because I get enough hate mail. I mean, fan mail now. I can't. So just email Donna with any intents that you want. I ask for the intent name spelled out in English and a brief description next to it in what category you may or may not, or you think it goes in. I don't pick all of them. I pick the ones that resonate the highest with me and with my products line. So again, this is your chance to get your own intent in the 4.1. It is coming. It's very real. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to release the Source 4 or Aquaware 4.1 or maybe do it together. I don't know yet, but they're coming. And the Source 4. I don't know if you've watched the video that I released a couple days ago. It's getting there. I'll release another video at the end of the week. I think we're going to take a week or two break from doing the show. But 2 weeks, Donna? 1 week. And then we're going to do the first live activation with the Source 4, which will bring manifestation under 24 hours, which to my knowledge has never been achievable in anything. I've kind of cracked the code on how that works, and I've been practicing on myself, and it's working pretty quick. So again, 24 hours to manifestation. There is no upgrade path. You purchase the Source 3 bundle. You get the upgrade for free, otherwise it's set at market price. Okay, that's all I said. So what else are we talking about tonight? Come on, it's 23 after the hour. You got to unmute the mic, guys.
Okay, I have a question.
I have an answer.
Yay. So, with intentions, I'm going to ask you guys to mute your mics. So, with intentions, Peter, especially for you, with the new products coming out, and I know we kind of talk about this, but I know we always have new watchers, new people coming to the show every week. So, with the intentions, especially since you're asking people to send them, what is it that you want to see? So is it best to have action-oriented intentions? Not I want to feel better. Is it better? What kind of intentions are you looking with? If I say, Peter, I just want to feel better, what does that mean to you as far as an intention? Is that my intention? My intention is to feel better, but how do I put it into a positive intention? Does that even make sense, Charles? Peter, both of you help me out with this.
I'm very systematic with what goes into Aquaware. It's kind of like one of my childs, and I'm very, very critique when anything goes into it, because the idea and the consciousness that created that intent, whoever it is giving to me, it needs to be very pure. And if it comes to me and it doesn't feel right, I detect something, it just doesn't go in the software. The form that it comes in is really almost like a dictionary, right? You read a dictionary, it has a word, then it has a meaning behind it. If you look at the current Aquaware index, there's an explanation. Some of them are, my sense of humor with a description next to them. But take a look at the Aquaware 4 index. If there's something you want, find a place in any of the categories, whether it's spiritual purposes. If you like a group of intents to go into it, I don't have a problem with that. The product just keeps getting better and better. When the product line is finished being updated with the Aquaware 4 engine, and that is really going to happen within the next 2 months, because after Aquaware 4.1 is out and the Source 4 is out, I'm setting my sights on the 12th project, and that's going to be a little bit larger project because, as you know, that's 19 individual programs with one interface. So I'm going to completely redo the architecture of that program with 4.0, and then I will not be writing software after that as you know it. Everything is going to the cloud. The whole product line, everything is going into what we call SaaS, software as a service. It's going to use a Microsoft's Azure backend, or possibly AWS from Amazon, or even maybe Google's platform now. And what does that mean? Well, today, any of the products you can download for the PC on Windows 7, 8, or 8.1. I do these shows constantly, and people are always saying, I'm a Mac user. I'm like, well, you're not special, but the software doesn't exist for the Mac, and they're always complaining about it. So we went through the parallels. We had recommended last year, you go out and purchase Parallels, and you put Windows on top of that, and then people would think that I support Windows and Parallels, and I don't, and they get kind of upset. So anyways, we're making a strategic decision to move everything to the cloud. And what does that mean? The vision is you would log into your account on MDM. You would have an avatar that comes up. He spins up in real time. An avatar is your personal assistant, kind of like Siri, but this is visual. Him, her, you'll have up to 100 different types. You can even make yourself your own personal avatar. It'll be very customizable, and they will walk you through the intent process of creating an intent, selecting an intent using, so Aquaware, the 12th project, the Source 4, Navitas, and the other products are all going to be really broken down and rebuilt from the ground up, probably in a subscription model, because to be honest, I'm getting very, very tired of writing code, and the support mechanism and everything that goes with it. Even doing these shows, Donna's fantastic, but there's a support mechanism that constantly needs to be fed, and it's very daunting and draining. So SaaS, software as a service, is the next logical step. All the big companies are doing it. Adobe has done it. Microsoft is doing it, and we're going to be doing it. We're not like them. We're not that big yet, but we're working on it. And the idea is to use the technology in a web browser on any platform, anywhere, anytime. Okay, and it might even have a thin client on it, so if you're not online, you can still get to what you want to do. And iOS, the Mac operating system, Android, your PC, it'll be supported on all the major browsers. It'll work the same. It's going to look extremely different. And again, this is the blueprinting stage, and if you know my work, I blueprint, I code, I test, I release, I rewrite, and it's just this endless cycle, and it's tiring. And the support mechanism is tiring. And if you know Windows, you know how frustrating it can be. But unfortunately, Windows runs the world in the world of PC programming. So SaaS takes it. It's a no-brainer. The subscription model is something that's new to me. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. But for a yearly subscription, a monthly subscription, you get levels of access. We're going to be doing a paid workshop in a couple weeks. The same one as last Sunday. I promise it'll be more professional. And you purchase it, you get a download link, and here we are live, rocking and rolling. But SaaS is the future. That's where we're going.
That's awesome. It's great to hear, where the program is going and some future things coming up, because that's very, very exciting. We're all going to be looking out for that. So just to piggyback, Charles, did you have anything on intention and thoughts on that? I asked Peter already. Did you have anything to answer or to add to that about intention?
Well, with intention, and I probably ought to have this discussion with Peter, and we can have it right now. The word intention is like a noun. It sort of stays in one spot. It's called a nominalization. It comes from intending, which is an action verb. All right, which so the in having an action verb, the question comes up, and this has to do with linguistics. Are you going toward or you're going away from whatever the intending or whatever the intention is? An example, and I just pick one up, and Peter, I may put you on the spot a little bit, but say GMO in foods is a big thing these days. So if we want to neutralize the effect of GMO, how would someone send that intention to you? Would you say neutralize the effects of GMO, or how would you handle that, Peter, if I'm not putting you on the spot too much?
You know, crafting your own intent is like tying your shoelaces. It takes practice. Aquaware 4.1, I've simplified the process. I've given you a really nice template. Donna, you've seen it. The process has been greatly simplified. To neutralize the effects of something that hasn't come to pass yet can be a little tricky. The GMOs are already in your body. That's a no-brainer. You can quickly write out an intent, neutralize GMOs, but you want to stay away from things like I, me, our. You want to keep it more general. The more general and specialized a custom intent is, the more powerful it's going to be. When you start putting in I, me, you're actually neutralizing the power of the intent, because we're not individuals. We're all the same, okay? And when you craft an intent in Aquaware using, you know, the individual really negates the process. So back to the GMO, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. You know, this isn't complicated. It's supposed to be fun. And if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. So I have to sit there for an hour and figure out how to write, how do I neutralize GMOs? Well, what the hell's the point? It's not fun anymore, right? So what you do, neutralize GMOs within the body. Bingo, done. Hit your water with it, drink it, end of story. Make sense, Charles? You're on mute.
Yeah, Peter, that makes sense. And you went beyond asking the question. You went into custom. Let me ask the question another way. And I hear an echo on here, so I'm going to talk a little bit slow. The suggested intents for Aquaware 4.0 in the library, what kind of form do you want that in from people?
It can really be the same form. Use spaces instead of creating one big string. The dynamics of how it phonetically looks in Aquaware 4.1 is going to be vastly different than 4.0, meaning the way you craft the intent and it looks, and more importantly, how Aquaware translates that through the sequence that it does to derive at the number is infinitely more important. You got to remember too, you're incapable of making an imperfect intent, because we're all perfect beings. Everything is perfect all the time, and I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's just my thinking, and you know, it's just the way it is. So if you spend more than 2 minutes writing a customized intent, you've spent too much time. You're doing something vastly wrong. Just write it. You know, meditate before you write it. Just sit back and breathe. 6, 7, 8. You know, whatever you do to get into your calm space, do it. And just let it flow. Once Aquaware is up and running, you are online with the universe and your intent. Okay? And you're going to consciously direct your intent. Now, when you're creating your intent, your thought forms are the strongest are the most powerful things in existence. So if you're getting stressed out, hung up, too much caffeine, whatever, when you're writing your intent, that's going to come across in the end result. That is an energy imprint in your intent. That's why, I alluded before, you can send me intents that you want, but if it comes across anything but my standard, meaning energetically, I'm just not going to use it. A long time ago, me and Jason Davis had a conversation about monoatomic imprinting, right? And these materials are so sensitive to energies that they pick up the thought forms of the person that actually packaged them or last handled them. So if you're having a bad day, you don't touch this stuff because it goes out to people that are going to consume it and you're going to have a bad day. Writing your own Aquaware 4 customized intent is the same way. You want to be in the best space possible. Use a pre-canned one to clear your space if you need to, prior to using it. Use one of the force field transportation to clear your space. So when you're crafting your intent, it's more natural. I can't stress enough. Just be in your place of power. And if you're feeling agitated or it's not fun, then just walk away. It's not hard. This stuff is not hard. I designed this to be simplistic. Okay, I've seen other devices, I've used other devices, I've seen other people's ideas, and that's great. If it works for you, that's great. To me, that's too much work. Where you put your attention, the intention goes. That's it. You don't have to hold hands, you don't have to sing Kumbaya, you don't got to sing to it, you don't have to do anything. This product works because I designed it to work. Okay, it's me in the product, and if you have been following me for a long time, you know what I bring to the table. Enough said about that. There's no work involved, and I've always held true that if this becomes work, I'll walk away. I won't do it anymore because it's work, and I like to have fun. I like to be off the wall, and my products are off the wall. And you need to use them from a place of peace, calm, serenity, and the results can be absolutely mind-blowing.
All right, Peter. Thank you. That's a phenomenal answer. All right, I'm really listening to the words in between in the space of in the silence. Thank you. It's the best answer I've heard. Thank you. Yeah. And question: would it also be appropriate to say that it's an ongoing process? So you use a pre-programmed intent, and then maybe go to another pre-programmed intent, and then put in your own intent. You sort of keep on going in the direction that you want to go.
That's a great question, and I actually got asked that today on the Jacqueline Johnson show, and basically it was, is it linear or non-linear? Meaning, if you have an issue, how long do you use Aquaware for? Well, I don't know. Sometimes I eat breakfast when I get up. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. Whatever you're trying to make better in your life, only you know the answer to that. I don't. Sometimes, I'll give an example. When Aquaware, the earlier versions of Aquaware came out, I used to have a 15-day trial. Okay. And the world had not seen anything like Aquaware version 1 when it was released 2007, and they were really mind blown. And people were using the trial with intents, and they were fixing their problems and not purchasing the product. I was like, that's a bad business model. So, back to your question, when you have an intent and you use it, and it fixes, corrects, helps out, moves you into a loving space, whatever, and you're done with it, that's fine. There's some people that use intents every day, not because they're not getting results to fix an issue. They could be, high energy. It could be mental clarity. It could be success in any endeavor. These are common ones that people just use again and again and again. Those are non-linear intents. Okay. Linear are you use it, you've gotten the end result that you've been looking for, you put it to bed, and you move on to something else.
So could could another way of phrasing that be that you can use AquaWare to head off problems before they come up?
Yeah, that's another great question. The space where AquaWare plays is quantum. We all have our ideas of what we think it is. Mathematics explains it a certain way. I have my opinion on what it is, and I look at things in life as very simple. I don't like to overcomplicate anything. Quantum mechanics is books and books of string theory and you know, I'm schooled in engineering. I understand this stuff, but when I try to explain it to people, I use very simple terms. If you're intuitive, you just know what it is. If we all are all made up of energy, which is my belief, that energy is all interconnected. And if that energy is all interconnected, that's called the quantum field. Okay? We're all water, we're all connected, you know, in the quantum field. And in the quantum field, there is no past and there is no future. There's only the now. There's thought, intent, projected anywhere, anytime. There is no space, time, or distance. So when someone says, well, how does the intent get into the water next to my computer? I tell them, how do we put it in a cup of coffee on Mars? And that really just kind of, you know, overloads them. But it's simple. This stuff is simple because I live and breathe it. And if you can think for one iota outside the box on how it's possible, you've just solved it. It's that easy. The tool is AquaWare. AquaWare is a tool that is to be used outside the box. You unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your potential. And I've had these conversations with 3 people today. I've gone in depth on the mechanics of how AquaWare works. Okay? And 2 out of 3 got it. The third person, who I won't remain, just kind of scratched their head and said, okay, that's cool. You know, unlimit your thinking, unlimit your potential. Where you put your attention, the intention will go. It's that easy. I don't care how the microwave works. I don't care about the science behind it. Well, unless I'm nucleating water, which I don't do. You know, irradiating water. You know, the light bulb comes on, great. You know, our computers work. I don't know the science or the technology behind the internet. I don't care. You know, people do care about an explanation of how AquaWare works, because once they experience it, they're like, how's this possible? And I've always had trouble explaining how AquaWare works. It's the Achilles heel. You know, I understand it intuitively. I breathe it. To me, it's second nature. But how do you put that in fundamental words that people understand? You know, you got a beautiful program with a bunch of lines of code, some algorithms in it, and then you have water that just physically changed. I had a lady today. She said it was shaking all over the place. Someone else said it was bubbling. On the Jacqueline Johnson show. How do you explain that? So the way I explained it was pretty basic. I know that intent is possible. I know that water is the most programmable material on the planet. I write killer applications. I know how to make stuff work. I see energy in everything. I understand frequencies. I understand you know, levels of vibration, and I can create those frequencies and levels of vibration on a 2-dimensional image, okay, using God numbers and a bunch of other stuff that I've learned along the way. And when the water effect happens, it becomes alive. It becomes 3D. It's like angels singing. I mean, it's off the chart. But I needed a vehicle, and that was the biggest challenge I had. I needed a vehicle to get the intent into the water. And I didn't know how to do that. And I watched some movie, maybe it was What the Bleep or something, and there's all this quantum stuff. I'm like, what is this? And then I figured it out. AquaWare uses computer code, uses the power of the microprocessor to punch a hole into quantum. Once that hole is created, I then have the perfect vehicle to take the intent anywhere. Where you put your attention, the intention goes. You change the physical properties of that water. You change the viscosity, I forget that word, and all the principles surrounding it. You reprogram it with intent. And I don't know how else to explain it than that. That's it. Make sense?
Peter, that's just a great explanation. And let me also simplify it in a few words. You hear it, it's okay. You see it, hey, you're somewhat impressed. You feel it, and you get to do it, I believe. Is that a way of simplifying what you said?
If I grew up in the 60s, yes.
Okay. Well, here's my answer to that. Okay, very profound statement. And here's my profound answer.
Really? But you see, I put up a force field intent before that humidity came out of your mouth, so I was protected.
Well, as they say, yeah. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
You know, but you know, so that is the principles by which Aquaware was born, and I hold true to that in all the other programs. Now, the Source 4 is very, very, very special. Okay, it is using the Aquaware 4.1 engine. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. The Aquaware 4 engine, or whatever. And you know, there's a lot of ways that people manifest things, right? There's a lot of written books. I mean, it's nothing new. It's been around a long time. The manifesting at its simplest pieces is I want to manifest something in your life, right? So you dream it up. Donna, you probably know what I'm thinking about. And our secret. But you know, you live it, and it's like a muscle. You can't manifest a Ferrari in your driveway in under 24 hours. It doesn't make sense. But you can manifest a blue button or a matchstick or a needle or you know, a fingernail, whatever. You start off small. Once you start getting results, you start building on those results, and you improve on them. Okay, and then you get the Ferrari. Or in my case, Donna knows what I want, but you know, the Source 4 is a different animal. I completely started with new ideas, new blueprinting. It's totally different. You're utilizing 9 symbols of creation to manifest something in your life. I'm giving you the power to create geometry with these symbols. You have any idea what that is? And if you have owned the Source 1 to the Source 2 to the Source 3, you know how they follow a certain mold to achieve results. I have shattered the mold in 4. Okay? I have shattered it. I have rewritten this program from the ground up, and it's scary. Wicked scary how fast it works. Okay? The water activations are coming. We're going to probably do a live activation with a beta version of the Source 4 in a couple weeks. So, anyways, I got off on a tangent like I always do. So back to manifestation. It's easy. And it's easy in conceptual thought. You put the thought form out there, Source grabs it, it rearranges your future to bring it into fruition in the now or when the time is right. I give an indication of 72 hours to 2 weeks with the Source 3. I'm making a claim here and now that manifestation will happen in under 24 hours with the Source 4. And I stand by that. I really, really do. I have gone over the top on this one. So in all the incarnations of the Source, including 4, you have your thought form, and you have what you want to bring into manifestation. And the school of thought is between the manifestation and the thought form and the manifestation, we call that the path. Okay, and anywhere along the path in traditional manifestation, if you have a negative thought, doubt, worry, thought form's destroyed. Source doesn't understand the low vibrational stuff, and you have to start over. That's why 99% of the people bomb out when they try and manifest things on their own. Okay, the Source takes all the work out of it, just like Aquaware does. Where you put your attention, the intention goes. Well, how do you do that with water? When you program water with Source intention and you drink it, that intention is physically in your body, and it creates rays that come out of your body. Okay, I know it sounds science fiction, but this is science fiction. But it's based in science. And the rays that come out of your body get picked up by Source. Okay, but the linchpin is in the path we create 2 parallel lines, and I call them I call them a bunch of different stuff. They call them light rays and some other things. But those light rays are really the support mechanism that take all the work out of it. So you don't want to have a negative thought, but we're all human, and we do have negative thoughts about manifestation, and that's okay. But those light rays or the light paths next to your path actually support the path. Okay, so and it needs to make perfect sense in your configuration, in your conscious configuration. Okay, so you want to manifest the red Ferrari, and I love using this example. I want it within 24 hours in my drive. Well, that's not going to happen. But what may happen once you've reached that level of access or that level of maturity or whatever you want to call it, or level of practice, you might have a relative that wills you the 308 GT, or you might come into some type of money to buy that Ferrari. You understand? The source picks it up. The light paths support the path by which it comes in, and this is the coolest thing. This is the coolest thing. Everyone says your imagination is the most powerful thing. Well, it's not. Source delivering your intention is much more powerful, and it's always more perfect than your limited human imagination can imagine. It's always better. Charles, you've used the source. I'm sure you've manifested stuff with it, and I know that when you get it, it's better than the way you projected it. It's always better. Source 4 with the 9 symbols of creation, and why do I call it that? I believe that everything that is created in my reality was done through 9 symbols. Okay, and I've drawn those 9 symbols as vectors, and those vectors I've had redone again for the source 4, and they're scary powerful. I don't even know if I want to release this, wink wink, but it's amazing, and it's coming to a reality near you. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and every time I come out with a product update, it's tighter, it runs better, and the end results are always more staggering. You know, I've had repeat customers for 10 years that just keep coming back because they can't get enough of what I create. Does that answer your question, Charles?
Peter, that more than answers my question. That goes way beyond. Thank you.
Oh my God, we're at the 52-minute mark. I love listening to my own bullshit. It's awesome.
Right.
Did I just say that, Donna?
And we're live.
Oh.
Okay.
That's a Texas term, by the way.
Let me bring on some questions, guys. So, of course, thank you. So, Peter, brilliant response. You did go above and beyond, and for me, it opened up some things for me as well. And so I hope, folks, it opened up some things for you, especially about opening up your mind and being free. So you really kind of have to unshackle your thinking and open up to some things that you just got to free yourself. Let's just put it that way. So, a couple of questions.
Hang on 1 second. I just want to further your thought. When you use these products, okay, you are creating a conscious entity, a connection to source, okay? And when you install Aquaware, the source 4, whatever, it's very much childlike energy you're playing with. It's, in a sense, being born. Not literally, but you're creating, you know, all the products create, you're channeling source energy is what you're doing. And when you install Aquaware, that is a child, okay? And what does a child need when it's born? It needs knowledge. It needs to understand you. The more you play with these products, the better they get. The more you have a fundamental understanding. Okay, it's consciousness, it's directing consciousness, it's really getting to know it. If you're not in a childlike state of mind, and to get there you have to unlimit your thinking, thereby unlimiting your potential, then don't use the products. Because the more you think like a child doesn't look at the world in abstract ways that we do it. They're not conditioned. They're like, everything is magical. That's how you have to get your thinking when you use Aquaware, when you use the source, when you use the 12th project, when you use Navitas, when you use Lightbody, when you use Smoke Arrays. You have to think outside the box. You have to be that child. And when you're that child, the communication is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, that's awesome. Again, Peter, you're killing it tonight with your stream of consciousness. You're just talking about the whole product line, really. I have some folks in the chat. Gabrielle, hi Gabrielle. She's out there. She's talking about. She's got a couple of questions. Peter, these are directed to you. So she says, will you still be able to get the upgrade if the program was purchased from a Tele Summit? Take a moment and answer that, if you would, please.
So I would assume that you're talking about Aquaware or Lightbody. The source has not been offered on any of the tele seminars in a while, at least this year, anyways. I traditionally I release a product, you buy the product, and then if there are incremental updates within the life cycle of that particular version, so if you bought any version of Aquaware prior to 4, you would have received a discount for 4. If you bought Aquaware 4 at full price, and now Aquaware 4.1 is coming out, you receive that upgrade for free. Okay, the source for I'm breaking that model, and I'm doing it on purpose because the development costs, the personal costs of me and everybody that's coming together to bring this product into creation, I cannot offer it at an upgraded price. It will be set at market price. What I have done is I've gone over the last 3 or 4 weeks, we have offered the Source Bundle, which is 25% off right out of the gate, and added a 33% on top of that, and included the Source 4 for free. So the only way to get the Source 4, which is a full-blown, right out of the gate, ground-up product, is to either purchase the Source 3 bundle, get it for free, or you're just going to have to pay market price. Now, if you've bought the Source, if you bought the Source 2, the Source 1, I'm sorry, but there is no upgrade path beyond what I just explained to the Source 4. I kind of hope that answers your question.
Okay, great. So thanks, Gabriella, for that question. We got a Facebook question, and this is from Valerie. Hi, Valerie. Valerie says, kind of along those same lines, hope all's well for questions. She wants to know for the membership, Peter, and then I also have a question for you, Charles. So for the membership, wants to know, will she need a membership annually when it goes into the cloud? And I think, we haven't structured that yet, just yet. So you have to sit tight on that.
I'm a traditional software writer. I love creating these products and having people download them, and then I go gray with all the support questions that come in from installing Windows software. The cloud is a new animal. There's a lot of it's changing in the world all the time. We are still, at least 10 months out from doing this. Now, I say a subscription model. Everyone is going to a subscription model. We are going to be going to a subscription model in the future. That call has already been made. Now, what does that mean? If I had a guess, let's say you wanted access to basic intents, it could be $9.95 a month for X amount. If you want a yearly subscription, it could be several $100s. I don't know. These are play numbers. I don't know, but just to kind of give you an idea, we might have something like you pay 99 cents. You go in, you can use one intent across any of the technology. However it comes out, I have not blueprinted this yet. When I mean blueprint, that means dream it up, build it, and create it. I'm not there yet, and believe me, the subscription model right now is the furthest thing from my mind. I need to figure out how to do all this first in the cloud.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter. So again, folks, for the subscription model, that's coming. We're not there yet. So, Charles, for you, question. And more of a comment, and then I'm going to go into a question for you, Charles, from two different people. Gabrielle, again, she says, when you were doing your chant, she felt lots of energy around her heart area and her head. And by the way, Peter, your Spanish is fine. So.
Wait, quick story. This is true. When I was in 10th grade, I went to Rota, Spain for 2 weeks, and I was taking Spanish class. I failed Spanish class that year, and I went to Spain. That's a true story. Go figure.
So, Charles, for you.
Yes. Yeah. Was there a question from Gabrielle? I may have missed it.
No, it was much more of a comment. She just wanted you to know where she felt that.
Okay. So she's feeling good. Is she feeling good? Is Gabrielle feeling okay and good? Oh. You're
on mute, Donna.
Damn it. I'm sorry. I know I'm not on mute now.
Charles was lip syncing when you were talking.
Mr. Hughes. So I'm sorry, Gabriella, if you would, Charles wants to know how you're feeling. So if you could, go ahead and put that into the chat so we can get resolution there for you, so Charles can also be complete on that as far as you're concerned. Now, Charles, I want to read this from Dolores. It's a bit of a question here.
Okay.
And actually there's some questions, some comments in here, but she wants to talk about, this is about her experience with the workshop that you two did. So it's actually for both of you guys. So if you guys would mute your mic, let me go ahead and get started with this. Dear Charles, I'm writing to say thank you for the healing session on Modern Day Mystic last Sunday. I was so amazed at what occurred for me. When Peter had us do the drawing to determine a code word, I ended up with the word fortune hunter. All I could say to myself was, what? What can this possibly mean? And then suddenly, I was 8 years old again. I had run away from home and had been returned home by the police and had to face all that occurred afterwards with my family relationships. That was the dividing line in my life. I was afraid to ever be happy, and this affected all of my subsequent life. For example, I keep myself poor because having enough money would allow me to feel happy and more at ease, etc. But what I discovered last Sunday in the mind of that 8-year-old child was that she read lots and lots of fairy tale books, and in those stories, whenever a young person was living unhappy circumstances, or whether they were very poor, we hardly had any money, they would set out to seek their fortune. And by the end of the story, things always turned out very well for them. That 8-year-old child wasn't running away. She was setting out to seek her fortune to improve circumstances. But after the consequences of that event, she totally withdrew from the world. She never wanted to be part of it and was impoverished, imprisoned within. After the session with you and Peter, I felt the heaviness and the condemnation from that event just fade away. And I wholeheartedly felt enthusiastic about going out into the world again to see what's there. Like it's an adventure to be here and to seek my fortune. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to coming this Sunday to see what happens. So Dolores, if you're out there and can chat it, can type to us in the chat here real quickly how you're feeling, and that would be awesome. Charles, Peter, if you guys have something to add to that, I think it was a great testimony that she gave regarding last Sunday's workshop, because that was truly a very powerful workshop. We have Wendy here that has talked to us about that and feeling so much lighter. And, you know, I think it's because you two coming together and putting this amazing workshop together and helping people to get that. You know, we're in a space right now, I guess, in life where we need to get lighter. And Peter, I think you summed it up the best, and you said we've got to go back to that childlike thinking to where, children, they think, they play, they have fun. Nobody worries, they don't bring in that doubt and that, all that. It's child's play. So let's bring it back to that.
I'm still kind of flabbergasted by the whole thing. That was pretty mind-blowing. Charles, I'll let you comment on that one first.
Well, I'm just going to go through the mechanics of it, and that is that with the activation that Peter did, it brought up the core issue, and that was with the activation of the water. Excuse me. And then what I did is cleared up that core issue in a real quick way. In fact, it wasn't so much Charles that did it, it was your highest power, because the technique calls in your highest power to clear up whatever the issue's about. And there are several ways to look at this and metaphors to use. And then clearing up your highest power in clearing out whatever the secondary gain issues were that held you back. Secondary gain, something could have been there for you to have more attention. You were angry at someone and you had to get back at them, or some things like that. Those were cleared out. The old self-sabotage and old programs were cleared out. And then new energy from your highest power was brought in to fill all the openings and voids. So what you were is you were at a reset to go on beyond and go for new experiences. Now, is it real important for you to know that much, or for anyone to know that much detail, or to have a story with what went on? Not really. A lot of times, very deep clearings happen with a code word, and the code word could be ooga, or ha-ha, or it'd be a non-English word. It'd just be a sound. And profound results, very, very deep results come from that. When you finish that deep clearing of the core issue, go with your aquaware and rebuild. Use all those programs in there. Go with your intuition, and if you will, let your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind, your inner child, play. It's time to play. Go out there and play and enjoy, and go for your fortune. So let the child within you, to use some old metaphors from books of maybe back in the 60s, and that's a comment to what Peter said earlier. Personal joke here, but let your inner child play and enjoy life. So enjoy your inner child going for the fortune, whatever that may be. All right, Donna, does that answer the question?
I have a rhetorical comment.
Thank you.
Is it allowed, though?
I'm going to take a pass on that.
Oh, my. Peter, I'm enjoying this. This is great.
That was really awesome testimony. Dolores was her name, right? So, Dolores, if you're listening right now, close your eyes. You're going to feel it in the base of your neck. 30 seconds. No, guys, this is just for Dolores. Okay, that is my way of saying thank you, and I would like you to share with us whatever it is that may, may come to pass. Actually, it will come to pass. Thank you.
Can I make a comment, Donna?
Sure.
After what Charles had to say, I agree wholeheartedly, and it just brought up, in addition to what I was feeling last week, I'm back in college at the age of 58, and I keep saying, what am I doing? Can I do this? And after the activation, it did actually, come to think of it, bring me back to that childlike quality. Children don't question if they're capable of doing it, they just do it. And this week I've had a confidence I've never felt before. It was like being a child of, there is no question, I'm going to do it. So thank you.
That is a classic example of, you know, I speak a lot about the linear line with the zero in the middle. Everything to the left is as the world that exists today. Everything to the right is where we should have been a long time ago. You have moved through the 0 point. And what's interesting, and if I may regurgitate what you just said, you have unlearned everything you have learned for the real learning to begin. And that's what it's all about. That's how you move through. That was cool.
Thank you. And so it's, I'm so excited about what the future has to bring, with no doubts, just certainty. So thank you.
You know, that was absolutely awesome, Wendy. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. And guys, just for real quick, we do have Valerie has something in Facebook. Let me read that to you. She says, Charles is amazing. His sacred language is very touching to me. I was in tears and felt the energy, very powerful. I always appreciate these clearings. I also speak light language, but not like that. Hugs to all. So thank you. I'm sorry, that's from Linda. So Linda, thank you. She did put that in the Facebook chat. And I do have a email question that was emailed to me. Folks, if you have some questions, as Peter said, send them to me, you know, so we can kind of weed through them but do send them to me, Donna at moderndaymystic.com. Okay, thanks for that little plug. But this is from Tracy. And Tracy, we probably, I just want you to know we heard your question, so I'm going to read it to the guys. She says, do I need to be careful with the percentage settings when using intents such as abundance, finance, romance, or only with health-related intents? If I do need to, what could the result be if the percentage was too high on these settings, finance, romance, for example?
All right, to clarify, it doesn't matter what intent you're doing, okay? Detox is very real, and detox is when a person comes into contact with something that vibrates higher. It can be a crystal, it can be a person, it can be a place, it can be a thing, and in your case, it's Aquaware water. I've given you a percentage that you can dial it down or you can turn it up, okay? You need to be very clear when to yourself, when you're drinking Aquaware water, you are taking in a very high vibrational material, regardless of the power setting, okay? And detox, a lot of people, there's a lot of ideas out there about detox, and I'm just going to tell you what it is. Detox is when you come into contact with Aquaware water or anything else out there, the light body is instantly moved up to the vibrational level. It matches it perfectly at the speed of thought. The physical body generally takes up to 72 hours to reach that critical mass or that vibration level. And on the way up, as the physical body is vibrating higher, there are things like heavy metal toxins, there are things that we eat and drink in our body that vibrate lower, and they come out. Okay, as your physical body vibrates higher, they have to come out. And on the low end of the spectrum, you're going to get red eyes, you're going to get skin rashes, you're going to feel lethargic, you might have a hangover. On the high end of the spectrum, you're going to have flu-like symptoms that come on within an hour, and it's going to put you in bed for 3 or 4 days. Now, when I first started doing one-on-one sessions with people once upon a time, you know, I was the 800-pound gorilla. I could move massive quantities. I still can, but it's just a little bit more refined now. I could move massive amounts of energy through people, and I knew I was getting results, but they weren't coming back. They weren't coming back because they were detoxing from the energy I was moving through them. It clearly wasn't a smart business model, so I had to change, and I adapted. So when you use Aquaware, you do what works best for you. There is no written instructions on how to do it. I give you basic things. Start at 20%, 25%, and go slow. You have to go slow. And you know, that nonlinear linear model I explained before, you explore. If you want to crank it to 100%, okay. That's your own undoing, not mine. Yeah.
Okay, Peter, here's another question for you. So,
And Peter, could I add to that, please?
Sure.
Okay, the detox or the first timer. If it gets too intense, your body will shut down. Okay, it won't allow the energy to come in. Also, so for someone that's really not getting a result with something that they want a result for, lower the setting of what you're using. Lower the setting. Okay, you agree with that, Peter?
I concur, Jim. I do.
Okay. All right, Al.
Captain, what else are we on to?
okay, you know what, Linda just made another comment in the chat, and her comment was, would it be helpful, or excuse me, it would be helpful for people to learn how to muscle test for the percentage. It's easy. Charles.
Wait, hang on one second. I hear people talk to me all the time about muscle testing. I muscle tested this and it worked. I don't know what muscle testing is. Charles, do you know what muscle testing is?
Yes, I do, and it's called kinesiology. And what you're doing is looking for you're getting in touch with your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind. What you're trying to do is bypass the thinking mind, and there are several ways to do it. And what you're looking for typically is a true or false. A lot of people, like in demos, they'll test your arm strength. You're testing muscle strength, and you look for the strength of your arm in the first quarter millisecond. All right, and there is a technique to do it, but there's a lot of sabotage that goes on in that, and it's a course in itself that you can spend a weekend on or a week on. If someone knows how to do kinesiology, it's a real good way to do it. I like the way that Peter suggests, and that is to just be an innocent child and play. It's a whole lot easier. If you start bringing things in like kinesiology, and it could just get too complicated. I can tell you more about it if you want. I can even test you for something real quick.
Could you?
Yeah.
Okay.
One way that I use to test, if y'all can see it, is I do it sticky, smooth, rubbing my fingers together. When I teach this, and I only teach like a couple hours of it, but there's something like 11 ways to test yourself using kinesiology.
I thought you said non-complicated. Now you got everybody out there going like this, like they pick their nose and they're trying to get the booger off their fingers. Come on, man.
Well, this is the way that I do it. Give me the thing, and we'll do a kinesiology thing on it. There's other ways to do it. You can.
I don't know. You suggest something to me, and let's do it.
Let's do this on another show because we're running into time. Okay. And I think it's making things too complicated. And I'll just answer the question by saying, if you know how to use kinesiology, use it. Okay. If not, go to someone where you can learn it. It's the best answer I can give. Away.
It's perfect. Let's blow it off till next time.
Sounds like a new show. Guys, I got to get this question out.
I thought that was the question.
No, that was not the question. This is that was Linda's comment back to us about muscle testing.
How does a comment spawn 10 minutes of conversation?
Because it was a good one. And
we need more of those.
Actually, that it's kind of cool because let's just say, Linda, you made a nice little suggestion about a upcoming show. To maybe perhaps think about something, muscle testing and things like that. But here's a question, and going back to Aquaware, Peter, so this is for you. So if the question is, if I want to, does it matter if I say I want, set an intention for better health, but I'm still eating at McDonald's? Is that something conflicting?
Wow, because
Is
that is a cross between a linear and a nonlinear issue, and let me explain quickly. Jacqueline Johnson, I spent several hours with her last weekend, getting used to Aquaware and Light Body before we did the show, and so subsequently the Q&A today. Now, I don't recommend this, but for some reason, she decided to use Light Body in her own way, and she pushed all the buttons and charged the water a bunch of different ways and lost 3 pounds the first night. To date, she has dropped 13 pounds in 1 week using Light Body, and if you listen to the replay, it's all there. And she did not change anything in her eating patterns, and if anything, she got worse in what she was eating, because she's very childlike, and and I'm not recommending this for people because that's not why I designed the product. I'm just giving you an example of linear, nonlinear mixing, and so she's eating whatever she wants, whenever she wants, and she's losing weight like crazy. Okay, she did use the flush intent in Light Body a little bit too much. And I won't tell you what happened there because I don't want that here. But to answer your question, do what feels right to you. There are no restrictions. If you want to eat McDonald's and you Light Body, cool. If you get results, share them with us. Go open the, just send on an email. I want to be on the show and talk about Light Body, and boom, you're on the show. I have no problem with that. Just adhere to the guidelines. When you're using these higher vibrational intents, the body generally wants raw material, greens, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. You don't have to be a vegan, but you don't have to be a meat eater. You got to be somewhere in the middle. So do what works for you. And if eating McDonald's, but I will tell you this: YouTube the Bionic Burger, and I guarantee you will never go to that place again. The Bionic Burger. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a surprise, but let me tell you something. You will never eat at McDonald's again. Ever, ever, ever. Go ahead. Check it out. Bionic Burger. Do what feels right to you. I give you no restrictions. There you go.
I think Wendy has a question. Wendy, go ahead.
Peter, what's the difference between the energy on the Light Body program and just the energy that's generated on Novitas?
Great question. A lot of people come and ask me, well, why can't I just use Aquaware for what Navitas does in Light Body? And the short answer is you can. The longer answer is Navitas intent for energy is specific. Okay, the energy frequencies in Aquaware are specific, but because I personally crafted this one in a way that I didn't do for Aquaware, it's that much more intent. Light Body is the same. Okay, the body flush, fat loss, metabolism, all of it, they're very, very specifically geared for what they do. Okay, the frequencies are different, the dynamics are different, the vibration is different, everything is different about it.
Thank you.
Okay, hey guys, can I get you both to tune into Barb Love? Barb Love is in the YouTube chat, and she's talking about an intention. She starts out and says, Charles, great about the dialing too high. I've been using 100%, Peter, this is for you too. I've been using 100% all the time, even doing a detox bath, and nothing happened. So can you guys kind of put your intention or your attention on Barb and answer that question for her?
Okay. Peter, I'll do this first. And that is, Barb, go ahead and go down, down, down in an intensity. And in fact, what I may suggest for a week is to just do love. It's say 22% or self-love at 22%, and kind of let your body detox from what's been going on, and then go with the one of the choices that you had at a higher level, say pick Detox or one of those at say again starting at 22%, and then jump that up to maybe 28% or 30%, and go from there. In other words, get your body settled down, and yeah. Peter?
Charles, thank you. That was a great explanation. I would just like to add that there are mechanics built into Aquaware where some is coding, some is source energy, where if you are just cranking something beyond the scope of what your body can handle, your physical body, it's just not going to work. It just shuts down. The graphics will work, everything looks like it's working. It's just not going to work. Go back to basics. Love, like Charles said, is under human potential. 20-25%, 3 times a day for a week. Watch what it does to you. The second one is cleanse, and under cleanse and rejuvenate general is a fantastic one to use internally, to use in the environment, to use on your pets. Again, you can use any combination of those at a lower percentage 3 times a day. Now, with that said, that is 99.9% of the people that are stuck in a situation similar to hers, but that's not actually what's going on with her. So, Barbara, I'd like you to just get comfortable for a second. Charles, watch this because you're going to have to explain it when I'm done. I would like you to put your attention on your solar plex chakra, and that's where you feel it probably most of the time. But that's where you physically feel it. That's not exactly where it is. Actually, where it is in your left earlobe. Okay, so keep your attention on your solar plex chakra, and I'm just going to melt this quickly. Count backwards, 3, 2, 1. I hit the 1. You think of white light, and it's done. 3, 2, 1. Again, now that that blockage is removed, please adhere to the advice that me and Charles just gave you. Charles, can you explain what just happened?
Well, what you did, you slowed down the detox. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was on mute. Peter, what you did is you slowed down the detox. Okay, that's essentially what you did. And I like that. And I do that a little bit different way. And if I may, I'd like to do just a short chant for anyone listening to slow down the detox if you overdid things, okay? And then go back and restart and do the love or the cleanse and rejuvenate at that 20, 22, 28% level 3 times a day for a week. And here's the chant to slow down the detox. Ilahi 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 Me Kamahala. So Peter, that was kind of an audio way of what you did. And thanks. And drop a little line and let us know how you're doing. Okay.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, Peter. I'll do a session with someone, and they'll get back to me and they say, "Hey, I'm in a bad space. What's going on?" And 99% of the time, the problem is that they're detoxing too fast, too aggressively. The body has to catch up. The physical body has to catch up with what's going on with the light body. That's been my experience over the years. Either that, or if someone has an issue come up, what they've done is they've gone to take on their same issue with someone else so they can get it out of their body faster, which is the same thing as too much detox.
Donna, do we have any more questions?
We don't, but I got to tell you guys, this has been an amazing session. I think for the folks that were conscious enough to ask questions and having you guys focus directly on them, I think that was very wonderful for them, especially. And but I do not see any more questions. Oh, I'm sorry. As soon as I said that, hold on.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
Right. Charles, I'm sorry. Charles, your sacred language sings to my soul. Namaste. That is from Linda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And with that, I believe we are done with questions and answered. And for this wonderful session tonight, I think it turned into so much more than questions and answers.
Can I make one last comment, Donna?
Absolutely.
Actually, two. I just wanted to let you know that I've been using Light Body this last week. I've had energy like I've never had before. I hate working out, and I actually want to work out. I have not lost any physical weight, but I've noticed a huge change in the shape of my body. Even my husband, who isn't there all the time, even noticed, which I think is awesome. And as well, what I did, Peter, was I took the Inner Beauty, programmed the water, put it in a spritz bottle, as well as my face care, and I've been so what I do is I spritz my face with the Inner Beauty, the water, then put on my face care, and within a week there is such a distinct difference in the depth of wrinkles.
I want to comment on something. Oh, okay. Folks, Wendy was not part of the programming tonight. This was an ad hoc decision that we just made on the fly, and I didn't want to comment on it because I knew you would at some point. The facial characteristics of what you're exuberating now and the energy that is flying out of you is mind-boggling. Now, I don't want to give Light Body all that credit because clearly it's not. The work that Charles did last week takes a huge percentage of that, but that's pretty cool. And that brings up a lot of ideas we're going to talk about here after we get off the air.
Yes, so I'm thrilled. I think it was a combination of everything, and I'm just thrilled and so thankful. So I thank all of you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
Okay, I'm just about out of gas here. Not the type that Charles exuberated prior to the show and the pre-show, but I'm done. Just trying to hold it together. Look at him.
In from Texas, I'll add to that saying thank y'all.
Well, you know, we know it comes out of Texas, but
all you Texans, disregard, strike that. So what I want to say is, you know, it sounds like both Peter and Charles are complete, and the session is also complete. Folks, this I hope you take the time to watch the replay, even though you were in the live show. Take a moment to watch the replay again, and maybe even again and again, because so that you can hear it one more time, or however many times you need to hear it. What you missed, it's kind of like reading that book and read it again. So make sure you watch that replay. The other thing is, I want to thank everyone for hanging in there. We went over an hour and a half, and so over our programming, what we normally do. So thank you guys for that, for hanging in there with us and being present with this show. So thank you for that.
So I'm just kind of thinking outside the box here, last minute on the fly, and I want to do. See, I really want people to get the source for. So for 1 hour, there's a 50% off the source 3 bundle, which includes the source 4 for free. Okay, 1 hour, 33% off for 1 hour after the show.
What was that? What was this?
Charles.
I'm in awe. That is phenomenal. I'm in awe.
I'm known to do nutty stuff when I feel like it.
Thank you. Wow.
So 50% off. The code will still be 33 off show, but it will represent a 50% savings on the Source 3 bundle. 1 hour. It's I'll kick it off at 9:45 Eastern time for 1 hour to 10:45, and then it goes dead. That's it. Good night.
Hey Peter, can we make it to just 11 and be round hour around? Can we make it to 11?
That's fine.
Okay. I have one thing to add to that. Call your friends. This is a great offer.
Okay, let me just finish up.
Did I just do that?
Yeah, you did.
Oops.
Peter, does the session come with that?
Yeah, half hour.
Okay, half hour, folks. So everyone, thank you. You've got until 11 p.m. Eastern, and then I'm going to make sure it's off. And please remember, next week we do not have a show. Please enjoy the Memorial Weekend with your family. We will be back. Please make sure, if you are watching this, please make sure to subscribe to the Modern Day Mystic. I will put that link up in YouTube and Google so that you guys can subscribe to the newsletters, the e-blasts that go out. You'll definitely want to keep up to date. We've got some amazing things coming, and I want you guys to stay on top of all of that. I want to thank everyone. It was a phenomenal show. You have until 11 p.m. www.moderndaymystic.com. 33 off show. It is for 1 hour, technically. For all, get it and take advantage of it, folks.
And to reiterate, that is good for the Source 3 bundle. It's 50% off for 1 hour. Oh, till 11.
To 11, use the code 33 off show. That's the code. After, you know what, if anything comes in at 11:05 Eastern, you're out.
Well, you know me.
Come on, Peter. Come on.
So Donna, we got to say goodbye. We got to say goodbye.
We do. All right, guys. If the group would hang on, we're going to say goodnight to everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.